Hello, 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 and welcome to this final judgment-free zone. I am Shannon O'Hara. Stardate is June 21st, 2024. How does it get any better than this? I am finishing up a brilliant line of incredible people who have participated in expanding the possibility of a judgment-free world. I am the final judgment-free zone session before Dain does his big, incredible Being You celebration invitation for all of you guys, which will be officially on June 22nd, tomorrow. If you haven't signed up and you know that you would love to have more of that energy in your life, you can still do so. Just go to beingyouday.com and you can sign up there. It's totally free. And what would it take for everybody to have total ease being them, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful? So my question to lift off into the infinite possibilities today is, what if you could be grateful for everything in your life? Now, I was sort of assigned this question. I was asked if I'd like to do this question, of course, and I thought it was sort of ironic that I would get gratitude as my framework and through the lens to talk about judgment, being judgment-free and being you. For gratitude, I would say, full disclosure, has not actually been one of the energies that has come to me with the most ease. There are other aspects and elements of consciousness that I would say came to me way easier, like joy, for example, or even ease. Gratitude was one that I definitely had to and still have to consciously practice. And a little bit of real life gratitude effectiveness. My husband and I are on a 2.5 month kind of like road trip, which most people would think sounds really fun. But after 2 decades of living out of a suitcase, we really want to be living in the beautiful new house that we bought in England, which we elected to renovate. So we are not, we're homeless, quote unquote. And my husband refers to us as hobos. Americans might know this term hobo. It was coined in America, and it sort of usually refers to a bum, but actually what hobo means is homeward bound. And it was the assignation given to the soldiers in the Civil War, the US Civil War. When the war was over, basically they were just left where they were and they had to walk home, essentially. So the men that were displaced by the US Civil War, when they were homeward bound, they were referred to as hobos. So we're hobos right now. We are homeward bound, but we're living out of suitcases on the road, which has its pleasures and has its pains. And some mornings I wake up and I'm just like, wow, like I so would love to be, in my new space and living where I want to be living. And it's so easy for me to go into what's not working. Can anyone relate to that landslide of going into what's not working in your life? So I catch myself in the morning because I'm like, what am I talking about? Like, my life is blessed. Like, I have the possibility to, number one, renovate this beautiful new house in England. I get this possibility of seeing the world and doing what I love. And the biggest blessing of all, getting to be me. And when I wake up and I'm bummed about where I am, or I'm not where I want to be, or things aren't working the way I want them to be working right now, that's not really contributing to a judgment-free life and having fun. So I start focusing on gratitude. And literally, I will get into an attitude of gratitude. Like, I will take as long as it takes to get myself there. And I sometimes have to really like tuck myself into it, and not in a, oh, I should be grateful, but really getting grateful. So this is what my process goes like when I'm like getting myself into gratitude. I'll be like, okay, gratitude. I just say it. Okay, gratitude. So I'm like putting the energy into focus. Gratitude. What am I grateful for? And then I'll start pulling in all of the energy and information of like what I'm actually grateful for. Not because like I think I should be grateful, but really because being grateful is how we can jumpstart an energy flow that ultimately can lead to greater receiving. But I have to be the gift of gratitude first. And we would posit in access consciousness and in the party of consciousness or the possibility of consciousness that your being, when you're being you, that is the greatest gift that you are. And you are a gift. I know sometimes hearing that can seem false or a fantasy or a hope or a dream, since so many of us unfortunately live under the mantle of wrongness or judgment. Not that your being, your existence, your energy is a gift and is a valuable contribution to all. And if you want to go on that journey of getting to that way of living, for real, against all odds, against the forces of darkness, it starts with this really profound and totally free energy called gratitude, which is essentially an attitude, right? We can complain and we can criticize and we can judge and we can be unhappy, and we can be grateful and then more grateful. And then the weird thing about being grateful for everything in life, and that was the question I was given as my exercise for this conversation. What if you could be grateful for everything in life? So we got to this. My dad has an Airbnb in Houston, and we're staying at the Airbnb. And it's a great space, but there's construction going on next door. They're putting up a brand new house. Construction is loud. So we get here on the first day, and I am not happy. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to live next to this construction, blah, 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 blah. And it didn't feel good being not happy, right? So I'm like, okay, get out my toolbox. Okay, Shannon, chill out. Like being upset solves nothing. It solves nothing. Yeah, I guess like everywhere you think that being upset and complaining is going to actually accomplish something. Like whoever taught you that, like, has that worked out well for you? Versus, what if you were taught how to actually deal with life with the energy flows of gratitude? So with the construction, being grateful that I have this incredible place to stay in Houston, that my dad has given this as a gift to my husband and I, that I'm grateful that I even get to be alive and live in this incredible body and experience this life, to open my eyes and see the sun, and to get to be here, to be on planet Earth, is a gift. And it is free to all of us. We're all given this life for free. Are you grateful for it? Or are you trying to get rid of it? And if you can be grateful, which I feel like is sort of a easy thing to get triggered around, when you hear the words gratitude, does it trigger you into reaction? Like, do you react? Or does it open you to this energy flow? And one of the things that I posit is that gratitude is a cousin to something else called acknowledgement. And gratitude and acknowledgement are directly related to something called receiving. And receiving is Siamese twins with being. When you be you, you also simultaneously perceive, know, and receive. Perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving are 4 elements of consciousness that exist in a molecular formation. Just as water is CO2 and hydrogen bonded, and that makes water, perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving are bonded to generate and create consciousness. So we work a lot in Access on having more perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving, not to be mistaken as being right or getting everything the way you want it, which some people can mistake receiving as. So some of the cool things that we can put into practice to get to that molecular formation of consciousness, perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving, are these exercises of gratitude and acknowledging. Acknowledge what you're grateful for. I think there's even been some, I'm not a big science person, nor do I seek the path of proof, for proof is a slippery slope. However, I will say very loosely that I believe, I have heard through reputable sources, that there have been studies on how gratitude affects your biology. Biology is obviously very a lot easier to monitor and test for studies through the lens of science. But this is obviously not that conversation. This is a conversation about what's beyond proof, what's even sometimes beyond your ability to analyze, categorize, quantify, that could be a free energy that you could and would access and tap into with the attitude of gratitude. And I posit that gratitude is a muscle that we have to develop, we have to build, and we have to exercise for it to stay healthy and strong. And if your gratitude is atrophied due to lack of use, that's just a different energy flow. So in the beginning, I remember years, I mean, this would have been 18, 19 years ago. I remember complaining to my dad about something that I thought was unfair. And a good friend of ours, she goes, well, what if you were just grateful? And when she said it, I was so angry with her because I thought she was criticizing me and I thought she was making me wrong. And it actually took me a really long time, like years, before I was like, oh, I could just as easily be grateful as I am critical. And so this is one of the blessings of being an infinite being with infinite choice. We can choose to be critical. We can choose to be judgmental. We can choose to separate from ourselves. We can choose against the energy, because oneness and consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. That's one of the privileges of free will. You can totally choose to not be grateful. And you can also totally choose to be grateful. And so, what would a life, or what would a world, what would an existence be like, look like, feel like, that was revolving around a brilliant hot core of gratitude, a supernova of gratitude with the magnetic pull of the sun? You know, what would a life that was built on gratitude feel like? If your life was built on gratitude or revolved around gratitude, would anything that shows up not be correct? Or would everything that crosses your path, every circumstance, every interaction, every scenario, would it and could it be received without resistance and digested in the by a metabolism of gratitude that could and would convert that scenario, that circumstance, into an energy that could and would be received by you, by the universe? How much of your life, how much of your energy do you exert on resisting or reacting to the circumstances that you come across in life? And all of us are walking along the path of life, and all of us know what it's like to react or resist to stuff. That's a choice. Is that your only choice? So everywhere that you think that resistance and reaction, defense, avoidance is like the best sound strategy for life, where you destroy it and create all that. And what if you replaced even a fraction of the resistance, reaction, avoidance defense, pick your poison. What if you replaced even a fraction of one of those choices, one of those attitudes with gratitude? What would that look like? What would that be like? What would that take? So, for example, when you're on a 2.5 month road trip, like I am, living out of suitcases in this beautiful world, and I really don't want to pack my suitcase again. What am I resisting, right? When I go into, oh, I really don't want to pack my suitcase again, or oh my God, I really don't want to have to get on that airplane, which does occur for me. And if I catch that resistance and question, okay, what am I actually resisting here? Okay, I'm resisting a flow of energy. I'm resisting energy moving. Could I replace some of that with gratitude? And I think it's so easy to fake gratitude. It really is. I remember I had this one person that worked with me for some years who really tainted gratitude for me, for she used to tell me she was grateful all the time. She would use the word grateful, but she was totally lying and she didn't really mean it. And she had a lot of other agendas and stuff underneath the surface that were actually more real and true for her, but she never said any of that. She used this word gratitude as this false platitude. I didn't even mean the rhyme. She used the word gratitude as a false platitude that I've since learned, of course, like be aware of the energy, don't just listen to what people are saying. But it created a crinkle in my world around the word gratitude because she never meant it. So she'd say it, but it was a lie. And so almost like gratitude was weaponized and it was used as a way of manipulating me rather than as this free energy of receiving that it can be. So you've got to really look at this. It's like we say the word gratitude, but like when you hear gratitude, what does it mean? What are your experiences with how that word has been used? Have you actually witnessed real gratitude? Have you, number one, witnessed it in the environment around you? And is it an energy, an awareness, a choice that you have experienced, chosen personally? And only you can know that. Only you know if you are grateful. And if you didn't have to prove it to anybody, and you could just have it, be it, choose it. I wonder what gifts would be given. So we postulate a world where each being is grateful for their life. We seek a world where each element that is given freely by our magnanimous earth, each element that is gifted is received with gratitude, not taken, raped, used, abused, consumed with no regard. Where have you allowed your energy to be used, abused, and taken with no regard? And where have you used, abused, consumed, and taken without regard? And if we're really taking this judgment-free zone seriously, judgment-free zone thing seriously, we can have so many powerful awarenesses without judging ourselves, without judging. Okay, have I used, consumed without regard and without gratitude? Yeah, I know I have. Do I need to judge myself about it? Does judging accomplish anything? So if you can acknowledge what is without judgment, is that the kind of world that you'd like to live in? And what could you be grateful for in your life today? I'll give you a moment. can you be grateful for in your life today? Like, what are you grateful for today? And now surround and cocoon your entire existence with that gratitude. Cuddle yourself with gratitude. And notice if you have any resistance to that. And that might just be because cuddling and surrounding yourself with gratitude is it increasing your being? Is it increasing greater receiving? How much can you and will you surrender, relax, and be consumed by the magnitude of energetic possibility that each and every one of us swims in, that each and every one of us can receive more or receive less of based on our choice. And if gratitude was a muscle, what could you put into practice every day to strengthen that muscle? You could practice being grateful for your body. You could even be grateful for the shitty people in your life that aren't fun or that are hard. That was one of the hardest ones for me, for sure. Was, there were people that were just such a pain in the butt. And my dad was like, well, what if you could be grateful for them too? I was like, oh, why? And then I tried it. I tried being grateful for the pain in the butt people too. And what I found was completely unexpected. I found that when I was grateful for even those that were so easy to not be grateful for, all of a sudden, all of the charge and the upset and the energies that were hurting me dealing with that person completely vanished. So gratitude is like this interesting salve that like soothes painful energies, and it's not the only solution. It's not the only answer to consciousness, but it is a massive contributor to creating an environment of possibility where energy can flow freely, where you're not constantly responsible or controlling energy flow to achieve some outcome that you might not even be conscious of. And if you could surrender control, if it was okay for you not to have to carry that weight, and you could just receive this living and be present in your life as though every moment of your living is a gift. What fortune would you have access to? Might it be the fortune of being you? What if being you was that thing you've been looking for? And then we increase the landscape of being you in every area. Being you when you're angry, being you when you're happy, being you in sex, being you with your family. Good luck. Being you with money, being you under all circumstances. What would that be? And I would love to live in a world where each was being them, for the world would be full of so much interesting, diverse energy. An energy that I know so many of us are starving for. And please note, you being you is great enough to change the world. And that is true. So it is my honor and my blessing to finish off this judgment-free marathon that's been going on preceding the launch of Being You Day, which will be tomorrow, June 22nd, 2024. Just a little bit of behind the scenes. I'm not sure if anyone cares or knows this, but usually Being You Day, I think we've done 2 other Being You Day celebrations preceding us the last 2 years. And it's usually on Dain's birthday, which is May 22nd. But for this year, it got moved to June 22nd. I love that it's still on a 22nd, though. And yeah, how does it get better than this, you guys? What are the infinite possibilities of facilitating the expansion and growth of gratitude and the increase of oneness through everything that you choose, be, say, know, do, have every day in every way with total ease. Thank you all. Bye.